Greetings, mortals. Brimthen here. Welcome to my Escape from Tarkov guide, where anybody can do it. So can you. In today's episode, we're going to be doing our first quest to the level 15, which is going to be Mechanics Introduction Quest and unlocking Jaeger, who has a whole bunch of budget guns for us that we'll be using on all the other quests from here on out. One note before we move on, I hope that you have been watching all the other videos in this playlist. This isn't a ploy to get you to add views to those, it's to get you to have a good footing for the rest of this playlist, because I am going to be moving forward under the assumption that you have done all the other things. So you have your Lucky Scav junk box, you have your new player resources at hand, you know how to scav properly, you got your post effects and your hotkeys and everything set up, your account is ready to go for the rest of these guides. For those of you that have all your ducks in order, let's get into how to unlock Jaeger and get those budget weapons. First off, let's talk about the build. Now, I am pretending to be an alpha account, so I only have 4 slots down here, and I want you to start with a cheese, an Esmark, a splint, and a bandage. All of these can be found at Therapist if you need to buy them. I'm going to head over to Prepper here and get ourselves the lowly Makarov. Now, many players will not use this gun, but I swear by it. I've gotten some crazy headshots, one of them being at almost 85 meters or something like that. Almost got a 100-meter headshot with the Makarov on Wood's first wipe. So this is how I kind of set it up. I use PST ammo, and I buy some extra mags, and I like to prep a few different rounds. I don't even really insure them half the time, but just right-click on it, hit insure, and you are ready to go. You're almost guaranteed to get it back. Let's head over to Woods, go to daytime, and then get ourselves into our first quest. Now I want you to pull up Map Genie on your browser or on your phone and check out this little area of the map right here. You're going to see a plane crash. Now our goal is to find this plane crash by any means necessary, because right next to that plane crash is our quest objective. You'll see that I have now spawned into the match. We're going to immediately look for some landmarks around us. We see this bridge and this body of water. We're going to pull up Map Genie and see the river here, and we are now going to look for the nearest spawn point to that bridge, which is right there. We see that we're there, and we're going to look for that airplane, and we are going to start heading in the direction of that airplane. It is so easy to use these maps and find your way around in Tarkov as you get used to it. Practice, practice, practice. Pull up Map Genie as often as you can. Over there is the village, and I'm going to try to avoid it as best I possibly can. And here's the route that I'm going to take. As you can see here, this is where we spawned. I want it to avoid the scav towns, so I'm going to head over towards the mountain range here and go kind of around these rocks here and head kind of slowly down in between this area. And that's where I'm going to see the plane crash. Then I'm going to head to the bottom of the plane crash to this wooden lookout post here. And that is where we're going to find our item. As you can see, I've found the plane crash here. It is an easy to find landmark if you use the map and just kind of follow the nearest and closest way to get here. There's various items scattered throughout the trail here, and there's a few items that you can find on the inside. Most of them are meds and food and water if you're low on it. All right, I'm gonna leave the airplane and we're gonna head over to our quest item now. I hear some shooting over there. In Tarkov, gunfire is a lot louder than you would expect. They're not that close by. They're actually quite far away on the other side of the map. So don't worry about gunfire if you hear it. Right here's the letter. It's underneath this little makeshift tree hut. And now we're going to talk about the route to getting out of here. So I have marked in purple the safest but longest route possible. In all of the places where you're going to find PMCs is in red, and all of the places you're going to find scavs are in yellow. So this route from plane crash pretty well takes you completely away from any sort of threats and keeps you safe and keeps you in between rocks and trees to hide and keep you away from people. This route is the safest, but it's also the slowest. It is completely possible to half the amount of time if you are to just kind of fight the scavs that are right here and head past those scavs and hit through here and then kind of hide in these rocks and then meet up with this route to right here. And then you can kind of cut down. And if you don't mind fighting some scavs, you can get close here. And you can get closer here if you don't mind fighting some scavs. And then you can get into the outskirts. You'll save yourself a ton amount of time, but ultimately it is not nearly as safe as this route. So as you can see, I'm going to run northeast of the plane here, and I'm going to keep in my peripheral vision here the mountain on the left of me, and I'm just going to run straight kind of parallel with it and use this tree cover and natural hills to kind of block me in so nobody can see me. Now I'm just making myself a way around the mountain, hugging close to these walls, using the natural terrain and the mountain itself to kind of protect me from being seen from any of the players that's in the highly populated areas. I'm looking for this split in the road right down here. You'll easily find this on the map, and you'll see that I am close to basically the bear car area at this point. I'm going to start heading west from this spot to try to connect myself to those mountain rocks. If at any point in time you get lost, just open up your map, take a look. You know I've traveled up this way. I know that I've hit that little split in the road right there. I know I'm roughly at the bear car. Now I've been traveling down this road and I'm probably somewhere in this area. I want to head west more to get down and under. So that's what I'm going to do. At this point, I have hit the kind of rocky outset right here, and you can see these rocks and you can see the mountain slightly away from me. I'm using these terrain notes to pay attention to where I'm at on the map. So I'll open up the map, show you where I'm at this point. I'm over here. I just come from this way. I'm now hitting into these kind of rocks right here. I want to keep heading west and keep pushing myself through it, and we will end up at the other side of these rocks, above checkpoint basically. So now that we're above checkpoint, what we're wanting to do is look for those power lines, and we want to start following those power lines because they're going to lead us to the extract. So what we're going to do is start running and looking for those power lines. Now that we're following these power lines, they're pretty much going to take us exactly to extract, exactly where we want to be at. We're going to look for some other landmarks. For example, over here on the left is Sniper Rock. It likes to overlook the checkpoint, which is a very common spot because it has a violet key card in one of the trucks. And a lot of people like to go over there and get their shooterborns in heaven shots from that spot. Now be careful. You're going to see some signs over on the right side that show landmines. You go too far west and you'll hit the boundary and you will just explode, and that we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to be over here on the other side of ZB0114, currently right in this area, and we're just going to kind of go behind it and kind of skirt the edge of the map until we get around to those rocks and head over into the outskirts exit. Now we want to be really careful when we get over to this area because we're behind Scav House at this point, and there can be some scavs roughly in this area. So we want to be ready just in case we start getting shot at. You can either run or you can try for some of those headshots. With this being the last stretch, I usually just try to run away unless they're like super close to me and in my way. Speaking of being super close and in my way, we have one right here. He throws a grenade at me, man. I'm over here scared. I love the Makarov though. But look, I've gotten a little brief respite, so I'm not actually going to continue this fight. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know if he's alive. But I have an opportunity to get out, so I'm just going to run and head on over to the exit. with this exit, you are looking for this blue truck over here, and some point when you get close enough to it, you'll get extract down at the bottom. Just lay down, go prone, and be very proud of yourself for finishing your first quest on Escape from Tarkov. As you can see, I survived. It took me 15 minutes. I got basically no kills despite having 2 hits on that scav from before. Do not forget to go to mechanic and hit the turn in button and hit complete, because if you don't and you go into another match and you die, you will have to do this quest over again, because you have to turn in that item. Otherwise, you take it back with you into the next raid in your passive quest item slot, so to speak. Be sure to collect your rewards and head on out and claim your new double barrels, one of the best guns in the game for a new player to learn the games with. Have a good one. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys and you got your first quest done. Peace!